Hello and welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast. We are powered each week by our friends at Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal needs, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal has you covered. They can also haul rock and sand. They do driveway work and can now do horizontal grindings of large wood debris piles. Give Keith a call at 229-314-2048 or at 229-938-2412. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal is the proud premier sponsor of the Integrity Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Integrity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, and sports administrators. Now, here's your host, Tim Estes.
Hello, and thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. It's our hope that you will patronize all of those sponsors that bring you this program each week. And for the 15th consecutive week, we are running over 3,000 views each week. So we thank you for that. We are available on several social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. If you're watching today on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. On any other platform, please like and share. Our guest today is first-year head women's basketball coach at Georgia Southwestern, Coach Missy Tiber. Missy, glad to have you with us today.
Hey, Tim. Happy I could join you.
Coach, there's a lot of folks that have gotten to know you. You've been here for a little bit now, but for those that may not know your background, kind of give us a rundown of your background in coaching and what led you to this opportunity here at Georgia Southwestern.
Well, I've been in the coaching profession for a couple of years. I think this is actually my 30th season in coaching. I immediately started my coaching career when I graduated from college at 21. So that tells you a little bit about my age. But I was a college player and I wanted to be a sportscaster. And I actually started in the profession for about 6 months. And then I went part-time because I was able to be an assistant coach at my alma mater in West Liberty, West Virginia. And that started my coaching career. And I've made several Division II stops and a couple of Division I stops along the way. And I had somewhat of a connection with Mike Leader here at GSW. And obviously, Justin and Hannah had done a tremendous job building this program. And when the job became available, and I just reached out to Mike and let him know I was interested in the opportunity.
Good deal. Well, Coach, you're off to a pretty good start right here. I know last night we dropped one, but Coach, you're 3-4 going into the early part of this season. Tell us a little bit about your team so far and the effort you feel like they've given to this point.
Growing together right now, that's what we're focusing on, just the growth and getting ready for conference play, which will begin on Saturday. We've kind of had a little bit of ups and downs, and I think last weekend is about the best we've played this year at West Florida. Had a great quality win, went to West Florida and pretty much dominated the game, and they were 5-1 at the time. And then last night we kind of let one sneak away. So that's what I'm talking about, those growing pains. We have been shooting the ball extremely well, and last night we could just literally not buy a basket from the free or the free throw line. So but just working hard to get to conference play. And, that at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to, is being successful in the Peach Belt Conference.
We are talking to Coach Missy Tiber, the head basketball coach for the Georgia Southwestern Lady Hurricanes. Our program today is brought to you in part by One Digital Solutions. They're a steward of business growth and personal development. One Digital resolves real issues for your business and for your employees when it comes to things like human resource management, financial services, and employee benefits. They do this by providing a tech-enabled solution to make life easier. It really is everything all in one. It's One Digital. Contact our friend Will Peterson. His number is 229-347-6289, and let One Digital begin helping you today. Coach, you come into this position, as you just mentioned, following two people that really built women's basketball into a successful tradition. Justin and Hannah, over their years here, did a great job. And you've moved here from a Division I program. I know you went through a transition there from Division II to Division I at North Alabama. Does the fact that you're following two coaches that have been so successful put any additional pressure on you? Or is this something that you thrive on?
It's very similar to something I went through when I became a first-year head coach at Belmont Abbey College. I followed a legend there at Belmont Abbey, Elaine Keeby, who then turned in to be the athletic director and hired me. They were a Division II powerhouse, and I had to do the same thing there. And it's always a challenge. Coaching is a challenge, and you want to be successful regardless of what you step into. But I do think there's just an extra sense of you just want to be successful, and you want to make you want to continue with the success of the program that Justin and Hannah build, and you're very deliberate in your actions in trying to do so.
Coach, tell us a little bit about your team and also about your coaching style. So I want to know about your players and kind of some of the people that when people come to watch them, they can expect to handle the basketball or shoot or play defense. Those 4 or 5 names that you can give me that are really folks you're counting on right now. But I also want to know a little bit about your style. What can fans expect from a Missy Tiber coach team?
Well, first of all, I'm always about the players first, so let's talk about them.
Okay.
First of all, I think a name that's just been synonymous with the success here the last several years. She played for Justin, she played for Hannah, now she's playing for me, as Destiny Garrett.
Absolutely.
She's a 5th-year point guard for us. She's also the reigning National Division II Player of the Week. She's been Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week a couple times. She's putting up huge numbers in points, rebounds, and assists per game. Last night she didn't have as many defensive rebounds, but the last couple games, and she's only 5'5", she was getting 10 or 11 rebounds a game, but she's knocking on the door of a triple-double, and it's going to come sooner and later, but she's having a really solid year, and again was in the teens, and I think had 8 or 9 assists last night as well. And then also Ndidi and Dukwe.
Yeah.
Also another name. She was huge in their NCAA tournament run a year ago. She's playing well for us. She's averaging like 20 points a game. And she's shooting the 3 extremely well. She had a little bit of a rough night last night, like we all did, putting the ball in the ocean. But those are 2 major names. Another name for us is Shanae Jackson. She was on the team last year, but she redshirted with a finger injury, and I've been very pleased with her progress. So you really have to treat her like a freshman, but she's 6'3", plays the inside. She had 14 points and 9 rebounds last night. She's really starting to come on. And if you've been around basketball long enough, coaching big kids, it takes some time, but I've really, really been pleased with her progress. If we can continue to get her to grow into that role, I think it's going to be a huge, huge factor for us. Rounding out our starting lineup is Khalees Carmen is a transfer to us, and also Tamira Carter, who's a local product out of Tift County. So she plays extremely hard. Was on a JUCO program at Chattanooga Valley last year, and played really well. The team won their conference championship and made it to the JUCO national tournament. So that kind of rounds out our lineup right now.
Well, when I think about Justin Payne, I think about teams that ran the floor constantly, and he always subbed out. And then when I look at Hannah Hayden's run here, she was so tenacious on defense. Is there something that people can look at Missy Tiber coach teams and go, that's the staple?
Point guard oriented for sure, and try to run tempo based. Everything's going to run through our point guard, and we're trying to be a transition oriented team. We're not quite there yet, but we want to get there. And then, of course, you got to be good on defense in order to do that. So you got to combine those two coaches' philosophies because you have to guard and you have to be able to rebound in order to run. And then also in the half court set, we're kind of a motion-based team, and that takes time. It's not something that you can get through it in a couple months. It takes time, and really, I hope by the time we get in the middle of conference play, that the ladies will be able to understand it better and learn each other better, and share the basketball in that way.
We're talking to Missy Tiber, head basketball coach for the Lady Hurricanes, and want to remind you that our program each week is brought to you by several sponsors. One of those is the Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance Agency. They're located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard here in Americus. You can reach them at 928-3686 or look them up on Facebook. They can even do the discount double check to make sure you're receiving all of the savings that are available to you. Drop by and see Marty, Mary Lynn, or any of their fine staff and let them discuss your insurance needs. Thanks again to Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance for sponsoring this segment of the Integrity Sports Podcast. And remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Coach, I know you're fairly new here, but being around basketball, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with the Peach Belt Conference. And it's been long said that the Peach Belt is one of the top conferences in Division II basketball. This early in the season, what do we know about the women's side of the Peach Belt?
Yeah, I mean, when I was at Tusculum College back in the early 2000s, back when Coach Cox was over at Clayton State and Buffy was still there. She's still there at North Georgia. So played against the teams in this league, and the Peach Belt has always been an upper echelon Division II conference for women's basketball. And it's going to be no different this year. I think Buffy has North Georgia playing really well right now. Columbus State will be strong. There's going to be your normals. We'll get there. We're going to get it back up there to where we belong. And but it's, early on it's kind of hard to tell with the preseason schedules. We played a tough schedule. If you look at our opponents and the teams that we've lost to, their combined record is pretty strong. So we've played a tougher schedule than most in the conference, and I think that will play dividends for us when we do get in the conference play.
Missy, I've been filling in as the PA announcer at Georgia Southwestern for about 10 years now, and I got a chance to meet Buffy a few years ago. The guy that does this podcast with me during football actually graduated from high school with Buffy, so I know she's been around for a long time. Hey, before we get to the next questions that you and I talked about, I just thought about this. I've been over to the Storm Dome twice this year. The crowd seemed to be really into it. Your student body's filling the floor area of that. Talk to me a little bit about the atmosphere you see in the Storm Dome.
I've been really impressed with it. And from what I'm told, that it's just going to get better when we get into conference play with the double headers. But we had a nice crowd last night, even, entering the last day of classes today, and there's some finals going on as well. But that student body was there for us yesterday, and the community. It was a 1-point game with seconds to go in the game, and they were really behind us, trying to push us, to get that win last night. So I'm just thankful for the support of the community and how they've embraced me and my family and just our program. They've been great.
So, folks, get out and see Georgia Southwestern, both the women and the men, at the Storm Dome. It's a lot of fun, very fan-friendly. Keith Micklig does a great job with some in-game games with the fans, so that's always a lot of fun. Coach, talk to me a little bit about your staff. I hadn't had the opportunity to meet your staff yet, but I'd be interested on your thoughts about the folks that are on your coaching staff.
Xavier Jackson, he's a first-year assistant coach with me. He was on my staff at North Alabama for the last 3 years, and he's doing an excellent job. He is young and learning, and he's very committed and working extremely hard to learn the game. And he's great in relationship building with the ladies, and he's doing an excellent job for us so far. And then Corey Tomlin. That name may ring a bell. She was a starter on the team a year ago. She's in our graduate assistant position, and she's doing a really good job. She's extremely knowledgeable, and as a point guard, she brings that to the court, and she's been a great mentor for our point guards.
Coach, we're going on our third year in this program, so I've had an opportunity over those years to interview several coaches and administrators at Georgia Southwestern. One of the common themes that I have found when new coaches come in is they're really impressed with all the other coaches at Georgia Southwestern of the other sports. They seem to embrace each other, and it's a family atmosphere. Has that been your experience here so far?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as coaches, we have a group chat, and they're always reaching out to you on game days and wishing you luck. And every single coach, that's very common at schools our size, is to get there and support each other. And you see not just the coaches, but you see the other teams out. It's the student athlete supporting the student athlete, and how important that is. And it sure makes it a lot of fun. I saw the baseball guys and the men's basketball players there courtside last night just cheering for us. And I'm sure there were others, but they just happened to sit right in my vision every time. So, and you have to credit that doesn't happen without quality coaches and quality administrators, making sure that that support system is in place.
Absolutely. Coach, the last question that I ask our guest each week, and as we get ready to wrap this up, I want to ask you the same question. Every coach has a grind, and it's a different grind for each person, but we realize that there's a lot of things that go on that you have to take home with you. Get on the phone and talk to somebody to kind of either bring you down or celebrate with you. Who are the folks in Missy Tiber's life that keep you encouraged and keep you lifted up?
Well, I'm a mom and I'm a sister, and I happen to be a single mom to two little adopted blessings, Zeke and Lola Tiber. They're 6 and 3. So when I come home, I get to be mom. And I think that's the biggest thing. Those are the Lord's blessings in my life. And of course, the youngest of 6. I have 4 older sisters. So my parents worked on a basketball team ourselves, and I have an older brother as well. And they've been my greatest supporters in my coaching career.
Awesome. It's been a lot of fun to get to know your kids. I've seen them out at a lot of our Parks and Rec events, and I think even in the gymnastics center for a little while. And you seem to have really fit well into this community. And we want to tell you officially, welcome to Sumter County. We're going to support you. And folks, if you're watching this today, get out and see Coach Tiber and the Lady Hurricanes. These ladies are going to give you their best effort. And it looks like we've hit a home run with another successful women's basketball coach. Missy, thanks for joining us. And I hope you'll have a successful run here.
Tim, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Go Canes.
And we certainly want to thank you for making the Integrity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Remember, this program airs each Thursday at 7:15, and you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and several other local media outlets. Let me once again thank all of our sponsors: Harper's Tree and Stump Removal, One Digital Solutions, and Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance. For our guest, Coach Missy Tiber, I'm Tim Estes. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.